We're live, I know, but I forgot to plug in my other light, Younes. You lot already know how we start this show. There's always a shenanigan that has to happen before we get an official intro from Guni. And the first one here is my ring light isn't on. You get me? So let me just stick that on.
Could barely tell the difference. Oh, okay.
Okay, now let's start the show. There we go.
Difference.
What's going on, people? And welcome to Man Knows Football. You're here with myself, Guni, and you're here with Younes as well. You get me? Been quiet the past few days. Situation happened over in my neighborhood, actually, which led to one of my friends being killed. And it's not been very easy to deal with, to tell you the truth. And yeah, I've just been struggling with that over the past couple of days. Just been showing the respect and just really just keeping myself to myself. Do you know what I mean? Because I wasn't really in the mood to be recording after hearing news like that. And to be honest, I didn't even expect to do it, but it's just like the message in my heart that I feel right now is if there's any of you that's out there and you're involved in this gang thing, yeah, you lot need to think about it, because you don't know, like, if it's not happened to you, you don't know how it affects people's lives. You got no idea. And like, I'm pleading for you lot to stop and take another direction in your life, because it doesn't end well. But listen, rest in peace to Victor from Dykeman Street. You get me? The guy was always respectful to me. He was one of the people when I first moved out here that I saw that showed me respect. You get me? So it's one of those ones where it hurt me when it happened. Obviously, Younes, me and you spoke about it, but we're here now, innit? And I'm here because his mum, his relatives said to me, don't stop, because he rated what you was doing. So I have to do this. Like, even right now, I'm being honest, like, I don't feel like doing this, but I'm doing this because this is what he would have wanted. You know what I'm saying? So rest in peace to Victor. And let's get on to Chelsea. But Younes, how are you doing, my guy?
Yeah, good, man. I mean, first and foremost, I mean, we've spoken privately and whatnot, but condolences to you, condolences to his family, his mum specifically. But yeah, you know, best thing to do is to pick yourself up and do what's right. And yeah, those listening, take Guni's advice 100%. It's important. I know it's a lot more common than a lot of people think when they get involved in that sort of lifestyle. It's not worth it. So yeah, just want to say that. For me, things are all right. Things are all right. On a footballing standpoint, we're waiting. although, yeah, there are some positive signs, but I know the panic is increasing amongst the fan base, and it's getting higher and higher and higher. And there's reasons, but yeah, we'll dwell into that and see exactly what's going on.
I mean, you know, when I did sort of check on the news, and it's just, ever since this window's opened, it's just been a meltdown theme for Chelsea fans, isn't it? It's just because all the news that we're getting is just like absolutely completely left. And big up everybody that's sending over the condolences as well. I do see all you lot, and I appreciate that. You get me? I appreciate that big time. But yeah, the transfer situation has been chaos. You know, 1 minute we're thinking Rafinha's through the door. I'm heartbroken about Ousmane Dembele. Now we're hearing that Rafinha Barcelona situation, which we're going to come on to later on. Absolute circus going on with that. And now we've got this situation with the Ligt. A signing that I didn't see coming a couple of weeks ago. Well, it all accelerated when Marina and, you know, the old guard left, because now we're starting to see a lot of these targets were from them. And that's not uncommon news. We hear that all the time. They've been doing that for several different managers. But now it's Tuchel's time, and he wants the Ligt. And up until the past couple of days, we've been thinking, you know, it's just a matter about negotiating the price with Juve, and surely this will get over the line. But there seems to be reports that a new challenger has stepped in, aka Bayern Munich. And apparently the Ligt is quite open. And if you're to believe the German reports, the key word here is German reports. The Ligt is hell-bent on going to Bayern Munich, and we don't stand the chance if they match the wage, is basically what they're saying. However, when we circle back to the good old English media and a good friend, Simon Phillips says Chelsea remain in pole position to sign Matthijs de Ligt, as they are the only club to have made a formal offer for the defender so far.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to say, I'm told De Ligt doesn't have any preference, but he does have a desire to play in the Premier League, and working under Tuchel does appeal to him. Chelsea have terms on the table that are acceptable by his reps. The key is to negotiate the fee. Which side of the pendulum are we on this one?
But I'm fully with the English side, because the English side is getting backed by the Italian side.
Right.
And that's the most important thing here. You know, what interest do they have in Italy to choose one side or the other? They technically don't, because that player is going to leave their league. That player is going to leave Italy. So they'd probably just call it straight down the middle, unless they've got any commission coming their way from somewhere, but we don't know. I think it's going to be a case of the English side are right. The German side are coming in with all their hype, I think, to try and just generate interest and to try and persuade De Ligt, because they know how far De Ligt is in terms of through the door at the moment. He wants to move. The Juventus CEO, if I'm not mistaken, or someone high up in the club has already said, we can't keep a player that doesn't want to be here or doesn't want to continue and is, wants to go to another club or another level. And he's already said that. The moment Chelsea were linked with him, they'd already come to terms that De Ligt wants to leave because he wants to come to Chelsea, he wants to come to the Premier League. So the English side and the Italian side seem to be matching in terms of stories, and the Germans have just come out of nowhere. So I'm not going to believe that. I'm going to go with the English and the Italians on this one, because it seems consistent and it seems legit. Chelsea need to be careful though, because Bayern Munich have power, right? And 100%. If Bayern Munich really want to just step it up, they can. They're not in Barcelona situation. Like, them lot can actually just fork out the cash.
Yeah,
so,
they can. Yeah.
We got to be careful. We need to act quick. But if we do, we get him, I think. So,
well, from what I understand, and I'm going to start by saying this, and it's going to sound biased coming from an English man, but I feel like the reports that I'm seeing coming out of England feel a lot less biased than what I'm seeing from Germany, because they're reporting that it's so one-sided that basically that we're not standing a chance. And really what is helping us the most is the fact that we financially, for this transfer window, we are in a much stronger position than Bayern Munich. And perhaps what's been quoted between 70 and 85 million euros, I believe it is, for De Ligt, is a bit more than what they are willing to pay. Now, this is the thing with Bayern and why I take this threat slightly a bit more seriously. Yeah, not as serious as what they're saying in Germany, but I do take it seriously. It's the fact that they've lost the first team centre-back in Niklas Süle. They're gonna need, so interest in the centre-back is real. And for them to go for a player like De Ligt with the bags of potential that he has and the leadership qualities that he's already showing at this young age, it's completely understandable. It's a link that makes sense. But I must stress that I don't think Bayern are in any kind of position to put up a financial fight with Chelsea at the minute. Although quite rightly, like Younes said, they can pay the money, but I do feel that if they do go all out and pay what Juve are asking for, it's going to affect him in other areas. So exactly. This is from my personal perspective, is I still have us very much in the driving seat in this still. Yeah. Unless Bayern, sells somebody over the next couple of days where funds are available and it's not going to hurt their overall budget if they do bring him in. That's my concern now, Younes, is the amount of time these deals are taking.
Yeah, that's the one thing. And this is where Chelsea need to start closing. Because I get the circumstances Chelsea are in and have been, and the new owner, and he's steering it with Tuchel, and there isn't a sporting director in, and there's gonna take time for that to happen. All the targets we need, it's a lot to deal with. Yeah, I'm not gonna come on here and be like it's easy. It's not FIFA. A lot of people, I think, seem to be in a FIFA mindset. It's not FIFA. Yeah, it's not Football Manager. It's a lot more complicated than we think. But with all what we're hearing in terms of, we have interest in that player, we have interest in this player, we have interest in that player, we have interest in that player, we need to start narrowing it down and start just pick a direction. Pick a direction and let's stick with it. Although we'll see, because here's an example of how complex things can be. We've gone in for Rafinha, we've had a bid accepted. Now, as soon as all of us basically concede and we go, okay, he's going to Barca. TikTok, he's not actually gone to Barca yet. There's a reason. There's things happening and there's things that we don't know. And this is why we have to give the benefit of the doubt to the new ownership and to Tuchel that it's not as easy as we think. But where it's possible, especially in defense, we need to start closing these deals. If we can, just honestly put a bid in, man. Just put a bid in.
Absolutely. Because look, this situation with the Ligt, yes, we're in the driving seat, but there's only so long until you get to a destination, you get to a crossroads where you have to make a decision because someone else can swoop in. And with the Ligt, the fact that he's available is each day that goes past, we're at risk of losing this deal. Yeah. And for me, this is where I stand with the Ligt. I've said several times on this channel, right? And take my perspective on him lightly, because again, I don't like to give absolute judgments on players I don't watch week in, week out. I've seen enough of him to make an informed judgment, though. I think he's a very, very good player. I don't put him in the elite echelon just yet in terms of even like that age group of ability. That's just me. But can he turn it around? You see, the reason why I think he can turn it around is that mentality that I see from him is strong. Is iron, cast iron, strong mentality. And I love to see that. And you see what excites me about this too is when you think back to the spines that we had that gave us our success. Peter Cech, mentality, elite, supreme. John Terry, supreme. Frank Lampard, supreme. Yeah. Up front, supreme mentality. Didier Drogba. Yeah. I see the angles that he's going for in terms of what he's picking, because look, we've got Edouard Mendy. He's a figure in that goal. You have to notice him when he's there, and you hear him when he speaks. Imposing figure. Thiago Silva, leader. Yeah, for me, in my opinion, with the respect given to Aspi, I get why he still got the armband, but really and truly, in my eyes, it's been Thiago Silva over the past 2 seasons. It's been him leading the team.
Yep.
Going to that midfield, he wants Declan Rice. Can you see the minerals that are being like accounted for here? All down that spine is what Tuchel's looking to have, a leader in each one of those positions: goalkeeper, defense, midfield, and up front. And I see the importance in it because of the amount we're emphasizing on building through youth, because you need leadership more so than you have. I mean, I'm stating the obvious here, but I see what he's doing. So I understand that plan. So to me, this De Ligt signing is key that we get it over the line, because I see that, because that mentality is part of his philosophy. People don't really put the mental side, the psyche into philosophies too. That is a huge part of it. But whether he gets it over the line, whether we get it over the line, let's see, man. But ideally, I would like to see, I think all of us would have liked to see our business, or about 75% of our business, done by the pre-season, but we're not going to see that.
No.
Do you see us, because we're going to come on to Raheem Sterling in a minute.
Yeah.
But do you see us getting this potentially over the line before the preseason? Because it is apparently it's down to the last small details in terms of like the price.
You're on about De Ligt?
Yeah, De Ligt.
It's hard to say, because I think, and this is what come out today, is that we actually are quite advanced with Nathan Ake. So in terms of preseason, it could be Sterling and Ake or De Ligt. I don't think both. But if Sterling's coming from City and we announce that, more than likely Ake's coming with him. So I reckon maybe those two will come in first. Afterwards, De Ligt. Or if he can go straight to the States and link up with them there, that would be great. Or something. But yeah, this is the thing. It's not as... We all have our preferences, right? We all have like... It would be nice to have quite a few of them ready to jet off to the States with the team. Right? But we're working on a day-by-day basis. It's possible that we play our first preseason game. We make a signing. That signing goes straight to the States and joins up with the squad.
True.
And then at least has a little bit of preseason with them over in the States. And then when they come back, there's still more preseason here. So even if preseason starts, it's not the end of the world. What would be horrible is if we don't get any of these lads coming in towards the end of preseason. And then it's like, oh, crap, we're starting the season without any signings there yet. Like, that's where you start panicking. So, hopefully not. But I expect Sterling... I actually think we're going to get Ake. That's my gut feeling. I think we're going to get him. And I think those two will be the first ones to arrive.
But Ake,
and then hopefully De Ligt.
But I'm going to stress, I don't think Ake definitely is not going to be the only centre-back signing.
No, definitely not.
100%. 100% not.
100%.
And when you... And look... I know a lot of the fan base are not happy with Nathan Ake. Me personally, I'm not really the happiest about it either. But at the same time, you've got to give an element of trust to this manager because he has earned our trust. And when you take a step back for a second and take a breather, him and Matthijs de Ligt, they already have that understanding, that chemistry from country, speak the same language. Ake has already been acclimatized to the scenario. The only thing he's got to change to, and the thing is, right, it's a good time for him to come because he's coming at a time where every single one of the squad have to adapt to this new change.
Yeah.
So really, he's missed out in a few years being at Man City, but in terms of it, nothing's really changed. And what does need to change, they're gonna get it with the team. They're gonna have enough time to grow with the team. I'm not completely against Ake. I'll tell you this now. But in terms of a week in, week out player, definitely not for me. But before I forget, I need to get onto the super chats before we move on to Raheem Sterling. Grimy, thank you very much for the super chat. I understand we went through sanctions and that, but I'm getting annoyed hearing we are interested in so-and-so all the time. I think that's the story of the entire Chelsea fan base, mate. I don't know about you, Younes.
Hey, I'm already acclimatized to it, man. I've seen this season in, season out. Like, how many windows have we gone through where, we're interested? Mate, I'm used to it.
Yeah, this is the story of Chelsea Football Club, but this is part and parcel of being a big football club as well, because when the top players are available, the top clubs get linked to them. And regardless of what other fans want to say about us, we're always getting linked to the top players. Do you know what I mean? Did you see Neymar getting linked with Arsenal? I think not. Did you see Lewandowski being linked with Arsenal? I think not. Do you see De Ligt being linked with Arsenal? I think not. I'm sorry, Arsenal, that you had to be picked in this example, but you're the first example that I thought of. So
even Ronaldo. I mean, that's how deep it's gone.
Oh my
now.
gosh, yeah, we're gonna talk about that as well. We're gonna talk about that as well. Just 2 more super chats to get through, and I'm gonna get through the other comments as well. There's some emerging breaking news that Party. I'm not gonna do that. I do appreciate the super chat, my bro, but you see what? Yeah, I have to say this.
Fair play for the word alleged in there, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you know what? I completely missed it, so I can read it because if alleged went in there, I'm going to read it. The alleged footballer that has been arrested on suspicion of the R. This is the thing. That allegation there and the P allegation, you guys know what I'm talking about, are the two allegations, regardless of whether you've done it or not. It will put your reputation in the mud, which is why I don't like slinging that at people until the facts are out. Names have been released, because from the names have been released by the media, it means most times out of 10, due diligence has been done. And it's a fact. This is why I'm not really entertaining that talk on what's happened. Of course, I'm aware, I've heard of the story, but for this reason, I don't want to put mud on a man's name who hasn't yet been proved to be guilty. You see what I mean? Yep. It's a very, very damaging allegation. So that's why I want to I want to leave that alone. And even if you saw how I dealt with the situation with the guy who just signed for Spurs, Bissouma, again, you have to keep them things there respectful. Although Bissouma was found not guilty in the end, you've got to be very careful about how you speak about people, man, especially with allegations like that. But Pedro, you're a supporter of the channel, bruv. I know you don't mean any malice behind it. Big up yourself. And another super chat I'm gonna read before we get on. My 2 favorite YouTubers, someone in the comments told me that players were selecting Barca over Chelsea because smoking weed is legal in Barcelona. Please tell me that players ain't going to Barcelona to smoke weed. Do you know who I do know goes over to Barcelona to do that? My good mate Troops. He goes over there 100%. In terms of the rest of the players, I don't know. But if there's one player I would put money on that chongs it down before every game, is David Neres of Ajax. That geezer looks buzzing before every single game.
He plays for Ajax. Of course he is. Of course he is.
Yeah, so
you think it's a coincidence that Ajax decided to drop a Bob Marley tribute shirt? Ah, man, it's no coincidence. They knew exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. 3 little birds, big up. Okay, but let's just get back onto De Ligt real quick, because I'm seeing a couple of people have posted this in the chat. Thank you very much, but I'm going to use Joey's one. Bayern Munich are trying to include Benjamin Pavard in a deal with Juventus to lower the price of Chelsea target Matthijs de Ligt. At the moment, Juve have no intention of accepting. So there you go. In terms of, like, you can already see the clues there, because look, Chelsea already tried with the swap deal. Juventus have already come out publicly and said they're not interested in that, unless it was Christian Pulisic, which we said no to. So Bayern Munich should have taken a hint from there and know that this club is really trying to deal with money unless you have a player they're interested in. So I don't know. I don't see that happening, him going to Bayern. But look, not a bad signing to bring in with Nathan Ake, not the two that I expected. But, you know, it's coming down to the trust of the manager purely on that one, because let's have it right, Younes. If these are indeed his decisions and his signings, you know, he's going to have to bear the cross if it does go left.
Absolutely.
And, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But Raheem Sterling, Younes, what's going on?
Well, I mean, apparently it's meant to be done. Although this morning there was a little bit of a weird thing saying that they're still discussing, you know, salary and all that, and he wants quite a high amount. But again, so many rumors and so many different angles that come at us that sometimes we don't even know what's going on. So that should be wrapped up. I mean, Nizar and quite a few of the others were saying that by the end of this week, they want him to have signed for the club and it should be done by that point. So yeah, we'll wait and see. I mean, it's mad. Sterling at Chelsea, I honestly did not see that coming any time. At one time, I would have been completely against it.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, yo, Tuchel clearly wants him, clearly has something in him. It's the same excuse, well, not excuse, same reason that we're giving to all the players that we're getting linked with. If Tuchel wants him, get him. And we'll see what happens. But as you said, rightfully so, this will end at Thomas Tuchel. If it succeeds, fair play, Thomas. If it flops, well, TT's got a few things to answer for. So
I mean,
yeah.
One thing we can say about Sterling, given the clubs that he could play for, he does seem like he wants to play for Chelsea. Like he has a genuine desire to play for our club, from what I'm hearing. Now, it's understandable. He's a Northwest lad, obviously from Northwest London, like myself. So for him to be back home, he's got a family base that's there already. He's got friends that's there already. It's easy to facilitate that move for him because he's going back to his hometown. It makes the most sense. And again, another shot at Arsenal. We are the only club in London that can offer him that quality of football. Fair play to Spurs, but they've just not been consistent over the past 10 years in terms of that, nor have they won a Champions League either. So I thought I'd throw that one in. But the Sterling situation, do you know what I don't want, though? It can't be the new Kunde. Do you know what I mean by that?
How do you mean?
In terms of everyone's just like, Kunde, oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen. Including myself.
Oh, mate.
It's a matter of time. Kunde's coming.
Mate.
He's on the way. He's just, you know, he's in London. Everything makes sense. Do you see a risk of that in this deal, or do you see this?
Nah, I think this is completely different. I think this will be plain sailing. Why? Because this target's been identified after the ownership change. Thomas Tuchel target. We're going for him. We're about to get him. It's happening. With Kunde, we now know that was a club target from when Marina was around, and Marina and Buck and Czech and all them lot have gone. It's no coincidence that since they've gone, the whole Kunde story's gone cold. And it's clear now we're identifying other central defenders. I think we've moved on from Kunde. Although I still think he's a target to an extent, but he's definitely not first on the pecking order like he was. I
think he's only a target now purely because Marina's done the groundwork, and it's just about,
exactly.
You know, saying to Sevilla, just give him to us for the price that we agreed. We've got the personal terms. I think that's what it comes down to. But again, I'm not going to lie. Some may find it controversial, but that would have been my preferred out of between him and De Ligt. I am not going to lie to you. I actually rate Kunde very, very highly. Very, very highly. Indefinite, thank you for the super chat. Why do we go after players with verbal agreements elsewhere? Just get Bremer and Koulibaly and call it a day and stop having interest. Close deals. And these, aside from Bremer, Younes, Koulibaly is a relatively easy deal to get done because, and I know it's ADL that we're dealing with here, who's a nightmare, but he's been stripped of a lot of the power from the fact that Koulibaly wants to leave the club and he's down to a year left on his contract and he doesn't want to lose him on the free. What are we doing here?
Well, this is the thing. When the list come out, when was it? A couple of days ago or yesterday? No, yesterday. Matt Law even saying, he mentioned 5 central defenders that we're talking to, Koulibaly being one of them. But this is the point that I made at the start. we need to decide.
Yeah,
like we need to pick a direction. We're not getting all 5. So we need to start really picking a direction and start closing. I agree. Although I appreciate taking this approach because it's not easy to just go to one player and go, yeah, let's do this. And say if it doesn't happen, then you're having to identify elsewhere. It's good that we've spread our targets about, but we need to start narrowing it down. If not, you're just going to start keeping your eggs in all baskets and you're not going to get anything done. So
exactly.
It's that time. It's that time to pick.
Or you're going to get things done at a time where, pre-season is pretty much over and you just you're just rushing the transfers in now, which is what we don't want. The Bremer situation now, you got to look closely at Inter, because what I know about Bremer is that him and his family, they are huge Inter Milan fans. And it's very similar to Rafinha, where like they've always dreamed of him playing there and that will always be his first choice. And I do think that he will wait and see if Inter find a way to bring him into the club, because I think Torino, although don't quote me on this because they're both in the same league, but I've seen a price tag of about £25 million, £30 million being floated around for him for Premier League teams, and which to me is an absolute bargain for the quality of player that you're getting. Serie A Defender of the Year, looks solid as a brick, built like a shit house, bruv, athletic as hell. Definitely got a few things about his game that he needs to fix, but I think he'd learn perfectly next to Thiago Silva. Perfect. I think he'd actually translate very well in the Premier League.
I think it'd be a decent acquisition, 100%. Thiago Silva, I think, can inspire quite a lot of these defenders that we're linked with. And weirdly enough, as I've said, that's even including Ake, which is why it's not a thing where it's any of these defenders that we're linked with. Not one of them I'm going, nah, hell no, because they all look like they've got ability. They all look like they're decent enough. But it depends how they fit in, and it depends how TT uses them. Bremer will definitely be a good option, but would that happen? I don't see it.
I don't either. Yeah, no. I don't either. I mean, it will be nice. I think for the price that they're asking for, it's an absolute steal. Whoever gets him is going to get a bargain. I just hope it's not Tottenham. Exeter 1985, thank you again for the super chat. Guni, my friend, you and Younes are enjoying this Arsenal being in the mud stuff entirely too much. It never gets old, my friend. It just never gets
It's a running gag. We could get relegated and still say things about Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, exactly. Sterling wants a salary increase. He's currently on 300k at City. Well, listen, when
this was the rumor from earlier on. Yeah,
I mean, even still, when Lukaku was on 330 plus bonuses, apparently you can't tell me nothing. I don't want to hear it. You had the balls to pay this man that money. If Sterling wants it, you give it to him. It's that simple. We've put ourselves in a situation where players can actually turn around and say, well, hang on a second here. You're giving this guy 300 plus K a week. Yeah. I'm a bit better than him. I've got 4 or 5 Premier League titles under my belt. You get me? I've done 20 goals this season. How many times since I've been at Manchester City? And I'm still only 27 years old. Yeah. So what's going on here? So this is the situation that we put ourselves in with how we've dealt with contracts. But why shouldn't you ask for a salary increase? Whenever you move a job, you really only move for 2 things: is if they offer you better pay, although that's not the be all and end all, and it's an environment that you see yourself happy in. So no different to Raheem Sterling, but I do. Go on.
With salaries as well, real quick. We all want to see a nice wage structure. Yeah, we've all spoken about that as well. Like Liverpool, great wage structure. But what I would want to know, and what I'd want to find out is Clearlake Capital, who are majority shareholders at Chelsea, right? Mm-hmm. They're probably the ones. I mean, they've got like £60 billion worth of funding available and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Egbali and Feliciano, who are co-owners technically of Chelsea, who run that company, it depends if they're on board with actually injecting some cash and they're like, yeah, no, it's cool. Wage structure and all that, fine, no problem. We got it covered. Then we're okay. We don't need to worry about who's earning what, right? But if they are concerned, then we need to be concerned about who's earning what. So that answer, we don't know. Technically, we still don't know. So we'll wait and see. But in terms of salaries and whatnot, yeah, we got to take that with a pinch of salt because it could go either way.
Yeah, it definitely could go left. And just, Younes, I forgot to ask you, how much time do you have?
A little bit. We'll go for like 5-10 minutes.
All right, cool. What we'll do is, because I did want to talk on I was going to let you just explain the Barcelona situation a bit, and we was also going to plug our friend Matthijs as well.
That can be done.
Since he done the interview with a Barcelona fan. But Younes, can you talk us through what's going on with Barcelona? Because they have got this whole transfer market, it seems, in one chokehold that nobody can get out of. What's going on?
You know what's mad? Like initially, especially since the whole Rafinha thing, I've been looking at them and then going, okay, they're getting economic levers. They're going to generate the funding. They're going to be out this mess temporarily, at least for now. They're going to be okay. But after seeing that interview that Matthijs has done on his channel with that Barcelona fan, right, who explained everything within an environment where only the deep hardcore Barcelona fans who are there understand what's going on. He explained it in such a simple way, and it's just made me laugh. The club's a mess. We've got nothing to be concerned with in terms of Barcelona. They can't afford anything. They are in trouble. Now, to say that they won't get signings through the door is false, right? And they can still get a Rafinha. But here's the thing. If they get a Rafinha, De Jong is leaving 100%. And they ain't getting no Koundé with him. And they ain't getting Lewandowski with him.
Yeah.
They can, like all the players they're linked with, Lewandowski, Koundé, Rafinha, the Dembele situation, Alonso, Azpilicueta, Bernardo Silva. It's impossible. It's impossible. Get it out of your head. It's impossible. I thought there'd be a remote chance of it being possible in terms of initially them getting all those players. The way that he explained it on Matthijs' channel earlier on was beautiful. They're struggling to even get Christensen and Kessie through registration in La Liga. Even though they've confirmed them as signings, as free agents, they're still not registered. Like, that's how deep it is. They need to bring the salary cap down, apparently, within Barcelona. And that's not down to them. That's down to La Liga. And the funds that are coming through the economic levers are still not enough for them to generate enough money to go and buy players. Even with the second lever coming in a couple of days, I think, or something, where it's gone to 15%. It was 10%, 15%, and then I think it's going to go to 25%. It's still not enough. He said Barcelona are in near to 1.1 billion euros, I think, or pounds, I don't know, but one of them, worth of debt. And that lever isn't even going to come close to squashing that. So, yeah, they're not cool. And the whole Rafinha situation, Deco works for Barcelona.
Is he hired by them?
Deco has a role with Barcelona.
How is that legal? That's illegal, bruv. That's conflict of interest.
I'm telling you, go and watch that interview. Go and watch that interview. Like, maybe not exactly as in an official title, but there is an affiliation there.
Wow. But do you know
that fan said, just to give you an idea, that fan said, with the whole Rafinha scenario where we saw Deco in the offices, do you see those pictures coming out where Deco was in the offices?
Yeah.
He put it down. He said his opinion, it was a performance. The whole thing was a performance.
Wow.
His words, performance.
Wow.
Yeah. Mad. It's not.
It doesn't surprise me about Barcelona. Those guys are just absolute bent backwards corrupt. It's just ridiculous, the corruption that we're seeing. And surely, I'll be so surprised if they are not investigated in the next 5 seasons. Within that time, they should have been investigated yesterday. But you know what I mean? It's one of those ones.
Bruv, it's mental. Also, Laporta, the president of Barcelona, organized I think some sort of match or some sort of charity match with like journalists, YouTubers over in Spain, over in Barcelona. Yeah, we didn't hear of this. It happened. Journalists were involved. They all played and whatnot, made it seem like okay. Then Barcelona started feeding them information. The information that Barcelona want to get out to the public. So everything we've been hearing from people like Gerard Romero and all of that is, despite him being reliable, the information they're picking up is the information Laporta wants people to hear. So why do you think Rafinha's not been done yet?
Yeah,
It all makes sense. Watch that interview on Matthijs's channel. I advise it. It's brilliant.
No, 100%. I'm gonna definitely check it out. 100%. Matthijs is quality, man. Well, as are you as well. You already know this, though. I tell you this near enough every other episode. But Matthijs is just quality, man. Just the way he does his interviews as well. He's
a natural.
Big up Matthijs. Yeah, big up Matthijs. And in fact, I done a record yesterday with him. And I wasn't able to put it up because surprise, surprise, Spectrum Internet again rearing their ugly head. But luckily it was a pre-record and not a live. But I'm gonna put that out at some point, probably after this goes up. But Exeter 1985, again, thank you for the super chat. Just one person's opinion. PSG has player power to a whole new level. Who gives out the next PSG super deal? Probably PSG again, to tell you the truth. There's nobody that's ever going to be able to compete with them, except possibly Newcastle. Actually, Newcastle. But they've got to get to the promised land first before they can start throwing around wages and stuff like that. And really going in with the financial doping that we've been seeing from City and PSG. But that's a story for another day. Tristan, subtitles, football. What do you think about us changing formation? Real quick, bring me Declan Rice, and I'll be even more comfortable with that formation change because he facilitates this so much. He's not the only defensive mid in the world that does that. I hear you. But that's just the one that I want. That's the one Younes wants. And that's the one most Chelsea fans want. And the most important thing is Chelsea are the club that Declan Rice wants, which is why it makes sense. You get me? But on that note, since we've left on Declan Rice, we're going to end it there since I cannot keep Younes for much more time. And I do appreciate you for the time that you have spent on the channel. So thank you for that, bro. But what have you got up already on the channel, or what have you got coming up on the channel?
So new video coming out on my channel shortly, in the next 45 minutes to the hour, on the latest of today and what's happened. And yeah, additional content on my second channel will be coming shortly as well, Guni Talks. So yeah, that's basically what's in the pipeline.
Brilliant. So you already heard this here first. Also, as well, for the people that are asking for what channel Matthijs's one is, it's very simple. It's Ma, and it's an animation of his face as the thumbnail. So definitely go and check that out. He's done very, very, very good work. As well, you lot have seen him here. You lot know he's here all the time when the season's on. He's part of the furniture, man. Love that brother to death. You know what I'm saying? But people, this week, again, we are going to be subject to the news that we get from the transfer market and whether Chelsea actually decide to pull their finger out and get deals done and agree to prices. Yeah, because I'm tired again of just recycling and hearing the nearly, and this, that, and the other. I just want players to come in through the door. Arsenal have had it. Man City have had it. Tottenham have had it. Several other clubs have had it. Let it be our turn. But before I leave, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. You get me? We are still trying to grow up this thing. And yeah, man, hopefully we'll get at least 2 in before the preseason. But wherever you are, people, whatever you're doing, bless up. Stay